Hi, I'm Todd Wente, and this is the Daily 180. 180 seconds of motivation and inspiration intended to help you take action and make progress in your life. This is episode 581 of the Daily 180, and I'm continuing my conversation about the big five traits as they came to us from a quote by Graham Duncan, where he says, I like to pay attention to the model of the big five, or OCEAN: open-minded, conscientious, extroverted, agreeable, neurotic. The idea being that this ocean, the more characteristics that you portray of ocean, makes you a better leader, makes you better in certain kinds of personality situations. It's good at predicting how successful certain people will be in certain kinds of fields. And today we're going to be talking about extroversion. And for me, it's really more about understanding what these two ideas are about than it is about saying one is better than the other. However, in certain situations, it is certainly useful to be more extroverted in behavior. And I'm specifying in behavior because I want to know what happens in the difference between these two in a personality style versus a behavior. Many people will look at me and say, Todd, you are a natural extrovert. And I look at them and I'm like, you have no idea who I am, really. When you look at a personality inventory of extroversion, it talks about a preference for engaging socially with others, a preference for being out there, a preference for being optimistic, touchy, assertive, all of these kinds of things. Whereas introversion as a personality style is a preference for being alone, a preference for being concerned about oneself, a preference for avoiding social contact and social interaction. Now, if you know that about me, and if you know about me and you know those things, you would probably still say, Todd, you're a major extrovert. And yet, there are certain aspects of that extroversion introversion measure that are difficult. For instance, one of the ways that I like to describe the difference between being an extrovert and an introvert is, where do you get energy? Where do you recharge? Do you recharge by going and hanging out with people, or do you recharge by hanging out by yourself? I very much recharge by hanging out with myself. Do you let everybody know everything going on, or are you a little more reserved? I'm much more reserved about revealing things about myself. So while I feel very much in line with being what an introvert is, I have learned to be very sociable. I have learned to be very talkative. I have learned to be out at the front and to perform and to lead where necessary with my actions. But that's not always from. The point that I'm trying to make is, if you're trying to change your behavior, if you're trying to grow and make progress, recognize that stretching yourself a little bit to engage socially, while it is hard for those of us who are introverted, is a powerful, powerful piece of how we can perceive to be more attractive and more trustworthy and more outgoing, and as a result, perhaps more leadership oriented. It's something that I've had to work with. It's something that perhaps you need to work with too, but maybe that'll be a good thing. I hope this is helpful. If it's been helpful, share a thumbs up or a comment. Share this with your tribe, especially if you have friends that you know that are struggling with the introversion and figuring out how to be extroverted. Share this with them and let them know, hey, you're okay. And we love you in spite of what others may say is preferable. Doesn't matter, introvert or extrovert, it doesn't matter. What we're really looking at is, can we learn to be in the behavior pattern more the extroverted, and lead and talk and engage, because really that's what everybody needs. I know this one's gone a little bit long, but thank you for staying with me. In the meantime, this has been the Daily 180. My name is Todd Wente. Go forth and conquer. We'll talk to you next time.